on colors. Today we're going to be making some graduation gnomes. I made a few over here for you to see, and then I'm going to show you this table of materials that it's going to take to make them today. We're going to take and we're going to use some hairspray for styling the beard. We're going to make a boy man gnome today, and we're going to be needing 3 of the 5x6 squares for the nose and for the hands, and you can pick whatever color you want those to be. And then we're going to be using some fiberfill. We're going to be using a pair of men's black socks, or whatever color gown you're making. It'd be good to have the socks in that. Black is probably your best bet on what you can find. We're going to need a 4x7 piece of felt, any color that you want the inset to be for the clothes that they're wearing underneath the gown. And we want, for the sleeves, we need 2 7x6.5 pieces of whatever the color gown you're making. And for the gown itself, we need a 16x6.5 piece of felt. And for the hat, we need 2 4.5 inch piece squares for making the hat. I've got the hat tassel here made out of embroidery thread, and then a 4x4 piece of cardboard for the hat, a 3.5 by 5 inch piece of paper, kind of stock paper, whatever you have, for the diploma. And I've got some embroidery thread over here for the cords that go around the neck, some blush for the nose, and the beard. It's going to be a 4x4 beard that we're going to use today. We're going to need some black rubber bands, and we're going to be using scissors, a marker for the diploma, and a glue gun with lots of glue sticks. And I didn't mention the marbles. We'll be using marbles in the bottom of the sock. So that should do it. That should be everything. Let me get this stuff cleared away and we'll get crafting. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is cut up the pair of men's black socks that we have. I'm going to section them off and show you what we're going to use the different parts for. And then we're going to go right into making the hat first today. So the first thing we want to do is I'll cut off the sleeves first. We're going to use both the rib part of the socks for the sleeves. So we can cut those off. Set those aside. And then we want to have 1 full bottom of sock for the body. So we'll set that aside. And then the last bottom of the sock we're going to use for the hat. And we're going to use it for the cap of the hat. You want to cut that kind of long because it's going to roll up for us. Not real long, but about like that. And then this part I'm not using. I'll use that in another project. So on the bottom of the hat, on the cap of the cap part of the hat, I guess, we're making a cap and gown. And you want to roll it up like that for the bottom. And I go ahead and put a little bit of polyester fiber fill in there so I have my shape. And then you just want to let it roll up. It'll naturally roll up. And you can take the glue gun and tack it up. Well, gotta get some glue. Oh, I do have glue. Just go around in about 4 places, tack that up. Just with a little bit of glue. One more spot. Just set that aside. And what we want to do is make the bottom of the hat. And that's with the 4x4 piece of cardboard that I told you about earlier. This is a pretty good thick piece. And then I've got 2 4.5 by 4.5 pieces of the black felt. And you just want to glue them together. Even try to balance out what's on the edge as much as possible. Get it right in the middle of that felt. Put that right on the top. Let's smooth it down. Then I'm going to go around and just put a little bit of glue right on the cardboard there. And then close it down in there. You want to do that to all 4 sides. I'm going to fast forward it and I'll be right back with you. So I've got that all done, and I'm going to take that piece and take the bottom part, the cap part, and I'm going to put some glue right in the middle of the square and glue it down. Now I want the seam of the sock to be on the back of the cap. So we'll put that towards the back and angle that towards the front. Got your point going out towards the front, and just put some glue in the middle of it. And let that set up. I'll be right back with you. So when I've got it all glued on there and it's all set up, it's going to be a little bit loose on there, and that's on purpose. I don't want it to be real stiff, but I do want it to be a little bit more glued than what it is. So I'm gonna put some glue. This is the back of it I'm working on where that seam is. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue more in there, just a touch more. Like that. And let that set up. I just wanted you to see that. Be right back with you. So it's all set up. Now what I want to do is put the tassel that I had made. Pretty simple to do. Just take some embroidery thread and make a tassel. I think I had measured that. Tell you what that measures. Yeah, about 6 inches. So you want to glue that, just make a knot on both ends and glue that knot right in the middle of the hat. And then making sure there's nothing on your glue gun. Right on the middle of the hat. And we'll set that aside and let it set up. And the next thing, glue. The next thing we want to do is make the body. This is just, you know, putting the marbles in the bottom and then putting the polyester fiber fill in there. And then attaching it up with a rubber band. So I'm going to do that, put it on fast forward for you. I'll be right back with you. Fiber fill, and on my notes I had made a note that I was filling them to 8 inches for the boy graduate. About 8 inches. They don't have to be exact. But it's 8 inches from the surface to the rubber band, which is what we have. So then we want to cut off and leave about 1 inch. Like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and show everybody how to make the nose. I've already made the hands. We're going to make the nose just like the hands. Probably a little bit bigger than the hands. For this one. We just want to take some polyester fiber fill, and it's a 5x6 piece of felt, in whatever color you want to do it. You want to take a neutral color rubber band for this one. This is how you do the hands too, so. See, the nose is going to be about that size, and the hands are going to be just a little bit smaller on this one. So after you get it like that, you just want to cut off the felt. What we want to do is we want to glue the nose right on the front of the body, which is where the seam is on the sock. Just glue the nose right on there how you want it. I think about like that would be good. So the nose is all set up on there. Really good. The next thing I want to do is put a little bit of blush on the nose. You can see that. If I do it right now, it won't get all over his beard and gown and everything else. So it's best to do it right about now. So I got that done. And then the next thing we're going to do is put the body. You can do this any color you want to. This just is going to represent the clothing that's underneath the gown. So we want to put this on before we put the gown on. And you'll be able to see it from the opening of the gown in the front. You'll be able to see this color. And this is going to be a boy gnome, so I'm making it pants. And I'm going to use this little piece of black felt that I cut as an insert to this piece to make it look like a little pair of pants coming out of the gown. So we're going to put those two pieces on right now. What I want to do with that, this is a 4x7 piece, and we want to take it and cut the corners off on the sides. We don't need all that. We're not going to cut the gown up that far. You can see on these ones how far up we cut it to show the fabric. If you leave it too much up here, it'll get kind of bulky underneath the nose, so we just cut it off like that. We'll put that on, and we want to put that so it's going to go to the surface of the table. It's going to be pants. Now, if this was a dress for a girl, then I would bring that up a little higher. But since it's going to be pants, we'll hit the surface with it. And I'll get that glued on. And I'll be right back with you. So I've got the inside all glued back on there, or glued on there. And what we're going to do next is put that little piece at the bottom that makes it look like a little pair of pants. So we just want to glue that right in the center down here. And let that go up there and dry while we make some sleeves. Now I like to use the full top of the sock for the sleeves because there's no seam that way, and you can use the very top of the sock, which becomes the cuff of the sleeve. And you don't have to glue it or anything like that. You don't have any seam. It works out really nicely to do it this way, to use the top of the sock for the sleeve. So I do sometimes cut this in half and make two sleeves out of one, but since I've got to use most of the socks of the two pair of socks, most of the material up anyway in this design, I'm going to use both tops of the socks for the sleeves. So what you want to do is you want to take some polyester fiber fill, not a whole lot, and it's real easy to put in. About like that. Get as close as you can with the other one. Now, is what we want to do is we want to take, and I've got some black rubber bands out of here, and we want to take the cuff, what will be the cuff of the sleeve, and take the rubber band around it. And then at the top of the sleeve, this is the part that we're going to glue them onto the gnome. This part will cut out because this is where the hand's going to be glued in. And not very long here, I'll glue the hands in there. So this will be the cuff. We're going to put the hands in there. And this will go on to the gnome. So let's do it to this one. I'm going to do that and be right back with you. Okay, I've got the sleeves done. And I went ahead and glued one of the hands in the sleeve. And then I'm going to show you how to glue the other hand in the sleeve around that cuff. You want to make sure you don't have any polyester fiberfill sticking out there. Get that cleaned out as good as you can. You want to take your hand and just take your glue around the rubber band. Now I'm using a Gorilla glue gun. It's got two temperatures on it, high and low. I always have it set on the low temperature setting. I had someone that was having a problem on a comment with the rubber bands popping when they put the hot glue on there. And I thought, what I thought it could be is that maybe the glue gun that the person was using was too hot. And so, because I haven't had a problem with that, and I use this low temperature glue gun. So you can buy these at Walmart for less than $8. And I really like it a lot. It's a good size. So the next thing we want to do is put the sleeves on the arms. So we're going to put the sleeves on. We could leave them just like this if we wanted to, but we want it to look like there's clothes on the arm and then a gown over it. And this is the gown arm sleeves. They're 7 by 6.5 inches. There's 2 of them. And you just want to take and line it up to where you're just going to see the cuff out, hanging out of the gown. And then take it up like that and glue it right on. After you get that glued on like that, you want to take one of your black rubber bands and just close it up around where the other rubber band is on the inside. It's all ready to glue on now. Looks like a gown over a top. So I'm going to do the other one. I'll be right back with you. Oh, we've got the sleeves all done with their gown sleeves onto the arms. And we're going to glue them onto the back of the gnome. Just right there behind the little stub. You want to glue them like that. And I'm going to do that right now. Put it right, leave enough room to put the other one on there. But I've got that set right there. It's going to take a few minutes for that to set up because you have to put quite a little bit of glue on there to make sure that that's going to be a firm hold for you. So give me a couple minutes, let me set that up. Okay, so I've got both the arms glued on. And the next thing we want to do is put the gown on. He's starting to take shape. So you want to take the 16 by 6.5 piece of felt that you cut for the gown. 16 by 6.5. And you just want to, it's folded in half right now. And then I'll fold it one more time. This felt is a little bit wrinkly because when I got it, it was all folded up. It didn't come off the bolt like I usually get it. So it's a little wrinkly, but not too horrible. So you want to fold it. It's folded in half, fold it again. And then just up at the top, cut out a little circle shape. And we want to take that right over the top of the nose. Right over the top of the stub. And it should come down like that. The gown. What we're going to do with it. Sure, I've got that over it. What we're going to do with it is start dabbing the glue right on the corners of the gown. I want to glue it to make sure that those corners are going to be exactly together right on the bottom. Side all glued. And I'm going to put it on fast forward and do the other side, and I'll be right back with you. So now we've got the gown on there. I can cut up to show the pants underneath. See where we are here. Like that. So you see it looks like a gown on the front, and that you can see his pants underneath there. And the next thing we want to do is the beard. So we want to take this 4x4 beard that we cut out of the big piece of fur with an X-Acto knife on the wrong side. You lay it down on the wrong side, measure it out, and cut it out with an X-Acto knife. And then you take it and you want to cut out where it's going to go around the nose. So you cut it, fold it in half and cut out your part to let it go around the nose. And the other thing you want to do is round out the beard a little bit so it's not just a square piece of material. You want it to look more like a beard. So you just want to put some glue on the corners here and fold it up. So now you're getting it ready to go on. Put it on just like that. And once it's on in place, just put a little piece of glue on there. Bearing in mind when you put the beard on there that you don't want it to be sprawling out onto the arms too far, because your hat's got to cover that up, the edge here. Your hat's got to come on there and cover that up. Like that. So that's how you want to think about that. You don't want your beard out here. Squinch it in a little bit if you need to. So there, you got that on there like that. Now what we'll do is we'll play around with the mustache and the beard a little bit with the hairspray and make that form nicer. So now what I want to do is attach the hat that we made in the beginning. And we want to attach it by putting the seam part of the hat in the back. There's a seam up there that was on the end of that sock. That part goes on the back. And the smooth part goes on the front. And then we're just gonna, we want to see a lot of the nose. If you can see on the other ones, I've left the nose out pretty far on all of them. That just is the character of this gnome. And so I want to stay with what I'm doing. So you want to keep that point out there. Do it right on the very top. And we'll start gluing. I'm going to put a little bit on the back. I'm going to do both sides. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is put on his cords, which are going to come out from underneath the beard. So I'm going to make the cords out of some embroidery thread that I have here. And that you just kind of have to play with it a minute, get your cord lined up, and there's not really any way that I can tell you how to. I just kind of put it like that and keep going back and forth with it till I get it as thick as I want it. Add another color if I want to, or keep it solid. And then when I get it as thick as I want it, I tie knots in the ends. And that's how we make the cord. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back with you. I'm attaching the cords now. You just want to lift up the beard and put them how they would be if they were hanging around his neck. Almost glued my finger to that. You can see this black is picking up a lot of lint. It's really hard to work with the black, but then when I'm finished, I'll go and clean it all up, and it'll be just fine. But it picks up the hair and everything. So the next thing we're going to do is do the diploma. It's a 3.5 by 5 inch piece of stop type paper. You know, I think I'll stop and do his beard right with the hairspray. This arm right here is not going to be holding anything, and we need to bring it down farther. We're going to wait for the diploma for a minute. So we want to take and put a little glue underneath that arm. To bring that, so it's not just out there. Let me let that set up and I'll be right back with you. So the last thing that we need to do is make the diploma to go under his arm. And it's just like I was saying, it's just a piece of stock paper. And you want to start, I just start with it flat, you know, and then start rolling it from there. Wow. And then you just want to glue it into a little diploma. I'm going to write Class of 2020 on it. I'm kind of was trying to keep it up towards the top of the diploma and leave a little bit of empty space towards the bottom for the gluing area so you could still read it. And then I'm trying to glue it on them so it looks like they're holding on to it. So it's in some way by their hand. I'm going to glue his arm down a little bit more. You just kind of got to work with them as you go. See what they need. Do it as you go. And I'm going to set this up and I'll be right back to put the diploma on. So I just wanted to glue his arm down a little bit more before I put the diploma on. Now we want to do it like he's holding it, and also I'll attach it to his gown. So it'll go across like that. So you want to be able to read it from the front. If it was to be on it's going to be used for a decoration of some sort. So start by gluing it right here. And then I'm going to glue it right below the bottom part also. So I got the diploma all glued back on him, or glued on him, and this is a class of 2020, our gnomes. So they're all finished, and we think they're a good design, and they're pretty easy to put together. So we want to tell you on Sunday, if you really liked Hayseed Hank, we're going to have Hayseed Hank's cousin, Pete Moss, on. We're going to introduce him on Sunday, so make sure you tune in for that. And if you like today's video, make sure you don't forget to like. Thank you.